I'm Diana McCallum.
Hey, I'm Andrew Ivimey.
And this is Fan vs. Fan for Luke Cage, Part 1.
Take my advice, brother. You should be out there helping people, like them other fellas downtown.
Reaper used to say the same thing.
Yeah, well, she was right.
Oh, fuck you can't even sing. Yeah, just sing something gets person. Oh, baby, I like it raw. Yeah, baby, I like it raw. Oh, baby, I like it raw. Yeah, baby, I like it raw. Shimmy, shimmy, y'all, shimmy, yeah, shimmy, yeah. The fight so I can take a look. Walk on the dance and talk for y'all. Yeah, from the home of the book. Wu-Tang, pain on your college ass disco dorm. You need a touch of skill. You need a gonna be here and hands for the girl. I broke this up slam. I'm gonna fight the band. Jump on stage and then I dance. Baby, I like it raw. Yeah, baby, I like it raw. Oh, baby, I like it raw.
You knocked down a few doors in the projects, and now you Harlem's hero.
I'm just getting started.
Shimmy, shimmy, y'all. Yeah.
All right, let's talk about pros. Diana, what did you like?
I thought this show was really beautiful. It was shot fantastically. There's so many
Good-looking show.
iconic shots in this. Like, obviously, I think the one that comes to mind is Cottonmouth underneath the Biggie photo.
Yeah, sure, with the crown coming over.
It was
Yeah.
beautiful. But
Yeah.
they also use like a lot of really fun techniques, like the first fight with Luke Cage, with that wrist breaking.
Okay.
Oh, that was insane. So yeah, they had a lot of really great visuals, and they matched them well with the music. I don't think they matched well with the story, but like visually,
Okay.
I thought this was a really beautiful.
Okay,
story.
yeah, if you take the images kind of stand alone, it's just beautiful
Yeah,
pictures. Not necessarily that go well with the story, but beautiful pictures.
Not necessarily, in my opinion.
Okay.
No. But looking at them, I'm like, this feels like watching art for a lot of
Right,
these scenes.
right. Yeah, I 100% get that, and I think that while a lot of those beautiful visuals didn't necessarily suit the tone of the story or the emotional arc or whatever they're trying to convey in that scene, I agree that they were beautiful. And one thing that I think that they those kind of visuals that they use definitely accomplish, that is one of my pros for the series, is that there's really like a tone of Harlem as a community in this series, like almost like how like Baltimore is a character in The Wire, Harlem is a character in Luke Cage. Like this show could easily just be called Harlem, like an alternate universe Harlem, where obviously bulletproof people exist, but Harlem itself, everything from the barbershop to the streets to every setting that they go to and every camera technique and color palette that they use for each individual scene, it's visually stylish, and it really paints the picture of every single block that they walk down as being something unique and special, but also cohesive as a community. Like I felt Harlem in this show, and I think that that's one of my big pros.
I agree. I think that was stylistically done, and also because we meet so many members of the community.
Yeah.
Like, there are a lot of characters that only get like one or two lines, especially in that episode where Luke's like beating up all the gangsters who beat up all the civilians.
Right.
We meet a lot of people who like get one or two lines. You get a feeling for the community, but also just through like the press that Mariah does, we feel for the community. Like, yeah, I felt like this was a real place, way more than I ever felt like, say, Hell's Kitchen and Daredevil. Like,
Yeah, definitely.
Hell's Kitchen always felt like, oh, I think just mobsters live here. But this felt like a place people live, that needed to be protected, that
Yep.
had a lot of rich culture going on. Like, yeah, it definitely felt Harlem as a character.
And there was no setting or location in this where it felt like a soundstage. A lot of exterior shots, it all felt like Harlem. Like Daredevil, as much as it was a beautiful series, there were shots where I'm like, this was a lot of your days were spent on sound stages. A lot of this was in, whether it's like an interrogation examination room or the law office and things like that in these other series, they feel like a soundstage show with the occasional exterior to let you know that, like, this is Hell's Kitchen, but they have to tell you that it's Hell's Kitchen. But this show is so uniquely Harlem, they don't even have to tell you that it's Harlem. They've built it up to such a beautiful degree that they're walking down the street and you're like, this is Harlem. And it feels very real and powerful and adds a lot to the story, because that sense of community is very important to the cultural relevance is the word that I'm looking for, and I'm just freaking out, of Luke Cage, and just the importance of his character in this story.
Yeah, and why he would want to protect this community.
Absolutely.
And then, so just to do another pro real quick, though, I think we both agree, Claire?
Oh, yeah, Claire.
Oh, Claire.
Hands down, Claire.
Oh, thank God for Claire. When she showed up in episode 5, we both, just
I think it was before. Was it episode 4?
No, 5.
5? Really?
Not till 5.
Wow, it's hard to even, remember the show before Claire shows up.
There is no show before
No, there's
Claire
no show
shows
before
up.
Claire shows
The
up.
show should be called Claire.
Yeah.
With Luke Cage.
Yeah.
Yeah, she crushes it. A great way to introduce her with the purse snatcher.
Yeah.
And then she just she becomes the new Pops, really. She pushes him to do the right thing.
Yeah.
To stay in the fight.
Yeah, she's the moral compass and the guidance of the entire series once she shows up, really. It feels that way to me anyway. 4, 5, 6, I'm like, you're the one who's going to be the guiding light of this series now.
Yeah, I totally agree. She's the guiding light. She wasn't really the guiding light for either Jessica or Daredevil, but she really feels like she's on Luke's team. They're going through this together, and she is the driving force, and she's just and she just imbues so much character into this show, so much empathy, but she feels like a real person that could exist,
right?
Which is a weird thing to say that I like in a show about people with superpowers.
Yeah, no, I get
I like
that
when they seem real.
I get that. Yeah, no, she's definitely a real human being, and she is just a tough woman who takes no guff. Even just introducing her by chasing down a purse snatcher and just beating the hell out of it, be like, this is a tough but real person. This is one of the best human beings written in anything.
I agree. She feels tough in a way that I could actually attain. So many times, the badass lady is I've had 15 years of ninja training, and I was in an actual war, and I'm like, well, I'm never gonna be that tough.
Right. She's not Elektra, but she is still a powerful, cool person.
Yeah, she stands up for what's right.
Yeah.
She chases down muggers.
Yeah.
She's just always trying to do the right thing, but not in a totally unbelievable way, where sometimes you're like, Superman's too good a person. I don't believe it. Yeah,
Right.
Claire's just right in every way.
And that's just her on a character level. On a performance level, Rosario Dawson just crushes it. And I think that one of the most incredible things about her performance is that she has such a complete understanding of her character that she has the capability of having that character blend into the different worlds of these 3 shows. So whether it is Daredevil or Jessica Jones or Luke Cage, the color palette visually, the tone of the series emotionally, and the humor of the series characteristically are so uniquely different in all 3. But she feels like such a 3-dimensional, well-rounded character that she always manages to stay within her character and still suit the tone of each show individually. She doesn't stand out in a stark contrast as someone who doesn't belong there, but she doesn't blend in or get lost as well. She's created such a rich, vivid character that stands out just enough, but it feels like a true 3-dimensional person meeting different people under different circumstances, bringing out different sides of what is naturally her character, and that's how great her performance is.
She is absolutely amazing. She crushes things harder than Luke Cage does.
There we
with
go.
His super strength. She's fantastic. Yeah, definitely my biggest pro of the series.
There we go. So those are pros, but let's get into cons.
All right, those are the pros. Andrew, what are our cons?
So some of the cons of the first 7, I definitely didn't enjoy the fact that we were dropped into a few too many plot lines too soon and too immediately.
What do you mean? Tell me some plot lines, Andrew.
It was difficult for me at the beginning of Fan v Fan today to even recap episodes 1 to 7. The pilot alone is so heavy on so many different things that don't necessarily play out or pan off or have any importance or relevance, and they're very bad at cueing us as to what is going to be important. Everything from the first moment in the barber shop where that woman comes in and I'm like, is this a love interest? What is going on?
We both wrote down love interest. We took notes
we
about
thought
it.
that was going to be a love
she's
interest.
lawyer.
That never panned out
never
into
panned out.
anything. So like bad cues like that where it's like, okay, so he's got this job here. Apparently he's got a second job. He's got a place above Connie's. He's late on the rent. We're establishing Connie as a character. The other 3 people in the barber shop are stealing for the mobsters who are doing the arms deal. This theft goes wrong. Now we're talking about Chico running away. Pops has a connection to Chico. Pops is also a father figure to Luke. Chico is stealing from Cottonmouth. Cottonmouth is now being overseen by Shades. Cottonmouth borrowed the money for his nightclub from his cousin Mariah, who's a corrupt councilwoman who needs that money back to build a community center. And then on top of that, Diamondback is the one who sent Shades because he's worried now about how Cottonmouth is running the business. And I don't think I've hit everything.
You didn't even talk about Misty.
That's right. I didn't even talk about Misty or the
get to
police.
Misty.
There are way
And that
too
was episode
many.
1.
There are too many plot lines that they dropped way too soon. They should have sprinkled them in a little bit slower, a little bit more one at a time. We didn't need Shades and the Diamondback storyline right away.
We didn't need Mariah right away.
We didn't need Mariah right away. They really dropped an 8-ton safe on top of our heads and expected us to lift it up.
Yeah, it was kind of just like, felt like you figure it out.
Yeah.
And we're like actively watching.
Yeah.
We are trying to follow along. And there were so many plot lines.
And it divides up screen time as well, so then it makes it difficult to develop emotional connections and understand character relationships, where it's like Pops and Luke, who are supposed to have a very close father-son, mentor-mentee type relationship, have 2 scenes together. 2 scenes. Because they have so many plot lines going on. The arc, the emotional core of this show that we're supposed to have the biggest connection with because they're going to try to rip our heart out with it in another episode, get 2 scenes. And that's not enough. And that shows that there's too many plot lines.
Yeah, the Pops dying was too quick. It all happened. Yeah, there was too many plot lines. And to that point, my con was that this show, despite having that many plot lines, was so slow.
Yeah.
I mean, all those plot lines mean that, like, there's too many plot lines, so they're very divided up. But even scenes are filmed in this, like, really, like, everything's supposed to feel really epic, so everyone talks really slowly, the pacing's slow, the editing isn't tight, there's no banter, and, like, some scenes have to be fast, so the slow scenes do feel important, but this was... Most of these 7 episodes felt really draggy. I think episode 5 we really liked. It was the only fast paced one.
I think the big
energy.
problem is like they're introducing way too many characters and too many storylines, and they're trying to give everyone the same quiet power that Luke Cage has. And when you do that, then suddenly there's no power in that anymore because that only has power in contrast. So when you try to give every villain and every character, and when you try to give Misty and Mariah and Cottonmouth and Luke Cage
and Shades
the same calm, quiet power, it makes everything in the universe very slow. It drags.
Yeah, to not even have a single character who's like loud and electric and energized. There definitely was a real drag, especially after Pops died, because he probably had the only amount of like character or passion.
He had the
anyone.
speed and charm and everything that was going on there.
There was a real drag to this show for me.
Yeah, I get that. And for me, I think one of the biggest drags was the performance of Misty. Misty Knight is probably one of my biggest cons of the first of episodes 1 to 7. Everything was delivered very monotone of a character that should have a sense of urgency. Again, they tried to give her that quiet power, but when a rocket launcher has blown up a restaurant and taken down an entire building, and she shows up with a coffee and just, what do we have here? Oh, a rocket blew it up? Well, when we get the lab results, let me know. I'm like, you seem bored by your job and ready to retire. And like, there's no panic, there's no fear, but there's also no power or urgency or confidence in her job. I can't tell if it's her first day or her last, but either way, she doesn't know what's going on or care.
Well, she knows what's going on, but yeah, I agree, because she does seem smart and competent. I think she's actually written quite well, but yes, performance-wise, like so monotone, no
Right.
sense of urgency. Like even more than the rocket launcher to me was when her partner was missing.
Right.
They found his shot up car and blood everywhere, a partner she loved and
Yeah.
believed in, and she's just staring at a wall and she's like, what if we went to his apartment and see if he shows up there?
Yeah.
But probably slower than that and without her hand on her chin because she's not that
and then
interesting.
she's just being like, I think she was holding a coffee still. She always has a coffee, but she's just like
She's got time to go to
she's
Starbucks.
casually drinking, and definitely a lukewarm coffee because she is in no hurry to do anything in life.
Lukewarm.
And she's just there, just being like, maybe my partner's dead, but we've always been loyal to each other, so I don't think he's dirty. What do you care about in life?
Come on,
Get
move.
it going. Get it going.
Get to a crime scene. Go
Yeah.
figure some stuff out.
Yeah.
People are dying.
But yeah, I think I can't tell if it's a bad performance or just a symptom of the fact that they try to give everyone in this show power and strength in the same way that Luke Cage has it, and perhaps it was a bad direction for them to send the performances in and for them to send the show in.
Yeah, I feel like
it's it's
I feel like it's definitely direction because I can't imagine an entire ensemble decided to all be monotone and dry and
be
not
weird.
speak quickly with no energy. They like as a group they were like, what if we all did the same thing?
Yeah.
No one would do that. It's definitely them trying to set a tone that just isn't resonating with us in any way,
I agree.
which is unfortunate.
Yeah. All right, well, I think that's it for cons. Let's talk about Easter eggs.
Ooh, they're fun. All right, Easter eggs. So I'm gonna go into a couple really basic ones just in case. So Pops constantly refers to Luke as Power Man.
Yeah.
In the comics, Luke Cage went for quite a while by the moniker of Power Man. That's
There
his
we go.
superhero name. I don't think he's gonna go by that here because the
Probably
show's
not.
called Luke Cage.
Yeah.
And he actually calls himself.
That's a good
pretty
point.
good
Yeah,
indicator.
they've already kind of dedicated to a specific wavelength there.
And also we have a bunch of people who offer to pay Luke to protect them, to be a hero.
Right.
They're like, you'll be a hero, we'll hire you. And he always says no, which is weird because his other moniker in the comics was Hero for Hire.
Yeah, he typically wants to be hired for heroing.
Yeah, this is a real roundabout Luke Cage. He's like, no money. And I'm like, that's kind of your thing.
Right, right.
It's weird, but I like that they at least brought it up.
Yeah.
The other big one was all these guns were made by Hammer Tech in this show.
Yes. Yep.
So Justin Hammer is a bad guy in the Marvel Universe. You might remember him from Iron Man 2. Sam Rockwell is Justin Hammer. He actually, there is a second Easter egg. So when they're in Seagate Prison, Reva is talking about there's no millionaires locked up in the dungeon at Seagate.
Okay.
In the MCU, Justin Hammer is held at Seagate Prison.
Oh, is he?
So
Okay,
I'm pretty
okay.
sure that's who she's talking about. I can't figure out anyone else who might be a millionaire locked up at Seagate.
Yeah, I can't think of anything else in that universe either. Hammer would make sense. I think at the end of Iron Man 2, I mean, he was definitely probably arrested?
No,
question
he was.
mark?
They established he got sent to Seagate.
Okay.
So
Did they actually establish that?
Yeah.
Huh.
So it's probably definitely him, maybe
right.
to explain why Justin Hammer doesn't show up despite
Sure.
this flashback at
Yeah,
Seagate.
yeah, despite the fact that Hammer Tech is still alive and kicking. And, there's an unseen Sam Rockwell scurrying around and underneath these buildings.
Yeah, look at the background really closely. Maybe he's there. I don't know.
Rewatch this whole show. Every now and then you'll just see, like, a rogue Sam Rockwell in the background just...
Don't forget about Justin
and he's
Hammer.
gone. And he's gone, you know?
My company didn't tank even
No
though
one
I got
hired him
arrested.
to do that. That's just Sam Rockwell. That's
showed
just
up.
how he does it.
He's an extra now.
Yeah.
The other guy at Seagate who helps Shades is Comanche. In the comic, Shades and Comanche are kind of a duo.
Okay.
And I thought it was really odd that Shades actually got to be like this lead role because you almost never see them apart from each other in the comics.
Oh, okay.
They were in the same gang as Luke Cage. They went to prison with Luke Cage. Like, they're always kind of there beating people up as henchmen.
All right.
So it was weird that Shades got to be like, I'm a star and you're not, Comanche.
Okay, I get that.
And,
A little strange to split up the group.
Yeah.
You don't want to normally don't split up the group.
And speaking of not splitting up the group, one of my favorite Easter eggs was Turk from Daredevil.
Oh, yeah.
So Turk, the villain, henchman, whatever
Sure.
he is, he's been on Daredevil. He was not on Jessica Jones the show, but oddly enough, he was in Jessica Jones the comic book based on the show, and he got beat up there.
Weird. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So he likes to get beat up across the Netflix Marvel shows.
All right, yeah.
And I just love when he shows up. He just does a little bit of villainy, gets his ass kicked, and then leaves.
Yeah. For those, if you're trying to remember who he was like selling shotguns out of his trunk in the, I think, episode 2 of Daredevil.
Of season 2, yes.
Of season
In season
2,
1,
yeah.
he was like human trafficking.
That's right.
So then he like really went down a step to like maybe
Yeah.
this is safer.
Maybe guns, and then like, and now in Luke Cage, he's like, I like chess, but then he's also kind of like maybe I'll get back into the gun game.
Make up your mind, Turk.
Yeah. He's just dipping his foot back in, testing the waters, seeing how things are.
And I think the biggest Easter egg of the entire first 7, probably everyone noticed it, but Luke wears his comic book costume at one point. Right after he breaks out of Seagate, so he's got the metal tiara from the experiment, but that's the tiara he used to wear.
The
bracelets.
The yellow blouse.
Yellow blouse. He even, if you didn't notice, he did make a chain belt.
Yeah.
I can't imagine it worked very well, because chains are heavy.
Yes.
But
like one of the least efficient forms of belt imaginable.
It's gotta make it worse.
It makes the whole situation worse.
It's gotta just fall. But he wore it.
Yeah.
He tried.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't wear it long.
No.
But I can't believe they snuck in that costume, though.
Yeah.
Like, legitimately.
I mean, you knew they were going to sneak it. You knew.
I didn't know.
Oh, I knew.
I mean, they have
I had
found
faith.
ways. That you had faith
I had
in
faith.
the costume?
Yeah.
All right, well, I'm glad you had faith.
Yeah.
And then one episode starts with an episode of Trish Talk. And if you remember, Trish was from Jessica Jones. She's the second lead female. She's Hellcat. And she has a radio show called Trish Talk. Mm-hmm. And at the beginning of episode 6, I think it was, we heard a little episode of Trish Talk going on.
Which was nice.
Which was really nice. Nice
Yeah.
to check in. So she apparently kept her job.
Yeah.
After what happened in Jessica Jones.
Yeah.
You know that much.
Sure. Gotta work somehow,
And then on the street, we had that kid selling DVDs of The Incident. Now, The Incident is what they call the invasion of New York.
Yeah, the Chitauri invasion from the Avengers.
From the Avengers. And also, there's really weird, not Easter eggs so much as just universe references throughout all these Netflix shows.
Yeah, the magic guy with the hammer, the green guy who hits things.
It's weird that nobody seems to know the names of the Avengers.
It is weird, because it should be the biggest thing going on in this universe. They talk about the Avengers in this show like it's a parody show that is not licensed by Marvel. It's the weirdest thing. That
they talk about them like they're members of a boy band and they don't remember which one is which. Like, the cute one, the quiet one, the shy one.
Yeah.
Like, they don't know who they are. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure, not just New Yorkers, everyone in the world knows Thor, who's a magic alien.
Yeah.
Who calls him the guy with the hammer?
Yeah.
Are you trying to look cool?
Like, that's something that, like, a DC movie would do to try to, like, make a joke about, like, other heroes from Marvel. Like The Flash or something would be like, oh, well, like, what? We're not gonna have guys with blonde hair and hammers flying around. Be like, when you legally cannot say the name, that's the thing you say. It's
but
weird.
they're fully licensed and they're in the same universe and it's so weird. But they do it all the time. Yeah, I think Jessica Jones even called Captain America the flag bearer.
The flag
like,
bearer or whatever the hell. Yeah, it doesn't
Why?
add up at all.
But yeah, they definitely in this one again. Like, I think they said Tony Stark once.
Yes.
But every other time they're like magic hammer, guy with the shield. And
yeah, they make sure that we're aware that this exists in the larger Marvel cinematic universe, which is easy to forget with these Netflix series because in many ways they're also designed for you to forget. They want to be very insular, very, very neighborhood, very localized, and I like that about it, but they do always take a little bit of an effort to remind you that they exist in a grander scheme of things.
But it's an effort that just comes off weird sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, but I think that's everything for the Easter eggs.
Those are my Easter eggs for the first 7 episodes of Luke Cage.
Perfect. And I think that's everything for the first 7 episodes of Luke Cage.
We've covered it all.
That's the whole thing.
That's the whole shebang.
Yeah, well, this is part 1 of a 2-part episode of Fan v Fan. Be sure to check out part 2 of Fan v Fan, where we're going to talk about episodes 8 to 13. I am Andrew Ivimey.
I'm Diana McCallum.
And be sure to subscribe to Dork Shelf. That should be right about here with things.
Mm-hmm. And you can follow Dork Shelf on Twitter, right about here, at Dork Shelf, probably here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And you can find both of us on the From Superheroes Network at FromSuperheroes.com.
There we go.
That's where you find us. That's where you find Dork Shelf.
Yeah, bing bang boom. We'll
all
see you in
mapped out.
Fan v Fan, part 2 for Luke Cage. Bye.
Kicked him out.